Poland has a giant boulder on its shoulder that it has never gotten sort of the proper sympathy for what Poles went through during the Second World War, which is to some extent warranted because the Holocaust that happened to Jews has never been taught. They don't even know that there was systematic extermination of Jews. It permeates the government. In 2018, the Polish government implemented a law that says you shall not say that Poland was complicitous in what the Nazis did in World War II in any way. It's just absolutely a mandated version of history. They call it a memory law. There are memory laws in other countries. This was a very, this was one that suppressed anyone who wanted to say that Poles killed Jews. It hurt my search because we discovered that multiple families of our relatives were killed by Poles, Polish partisans. So it was hard to pursue answers when it's against the law to make the assertion. That absolutely floored me when I was about to fill out more forms online with the Polish government because I would be breaking the law by asking. And if you said you were a journalist, they'd say, how many places are you going to print this? In other words, you're going to make the case for them. The law was not used like we think of Russia, jailing opponents and so forth, but it was used to make a lot of trouble for academics who have written on this subject. If you're familiar with Jan Gross, who wrote Neighbors, about how it was the Poles in Jedwabne who killed the Jewish residents in very macabre, grisly ways. He had a prior award, and he was stripped of that award. He was detained when he went to Poland. There was harassment of academics whose work definitely disproved or countered the narrative of this law. Most of the attacks were confined to academics and journalists. The law itself was not used, but in the most notorious case of the government finding a way to make trouble for someone like this was against Jan Grabowski and Barbara Engelking, who wrote It's Still Night. These guys were sued. It made news all over the country, all over the globe, and they were sued for besmirching the reputation of a long dead mayor of a town, because he had, according to testimony and some other proceedings, he had helped Jews. He had also betrayed Jews who were killed. And that's the problem that you have when you have people that did both. And that's really what history's like. You know, nobody's like one or the other. So it was a mixed bag. Anyway, at their libel trial, which they lost in Warsaw District Court, the judge ruled that all Polish citizens have a right to a positive pride in their country's history. It's equal to other rights. And that is mind-blowing, that you have a right to a positive history. It's like saying you don't want to learn about slavery in this country because that would be bad. And so you have a right to having total pride in the history of your country.